I will go a step further, though, because nobody has addressed this, and I alluded to this on First Take this morning, my television show on ESPN every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific. I brought this up, and I'll bring this up again. All of that's true about Magic, unless Magic, for some reason, some unknown reason, had a problem with LeBron James. If Magic had a problem with LeBron James, if Magic felt like some of the backstabbing and the chirping was coming from LeBron James, if Magic in some way felt betrayed by LeBron James, then that might explain why LeBron James didn't get a call. Now, we've been given no indication that that's reality because Magic clearly doesn't have a problem with Jeannie Buss, who he just had dinner with, et cetera, et cetera. And if that is the case, then you have a situation where it's entirely plausible, since Magic didn't call her either, that he may have no problem with LeBron James at all and just didn't call either one of them. That's fair. That's believable. I get that. Clearly, he appears to have had a problem with Rob Pelinka, and we'll be able to look into that upon further notice. But the undeniable reality is that Magic Johnson, although he may not quote unquote need to, because he doesn't need any of us, just speaking purely about basketball and his image and his reputation, etc., Magic needs to provide us with an explanation as to why he elected to handle things the way that he handled things. Because there's no conceivable reason that could justify Magic Johnson not calling LeBron James to inform LeBron James of his decision unless he had a problem with LeBron James too. That's the only thing, ladies and gentlemen, that makes sense to me. Nothing else makes sense. Nothing else makes sense. Why would you not call LeBron James? That simply makes no sense. And so when I look at it from that perspective, I have to ask that question. And I have to wonder about that. I can't wait to hear Magic's side because there's a whole bunch of chirping going on about Magic Johnson. And I really, really wish Magic Johnson comes out of the dark and speaks on this issue. I really, really do.
Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the
Stephen A. Smith on the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio. 1-888-729-3776 is the number. I want to get to Jose, not just because he's calling from Virginia, where I'm from, but because he has something on Celtics Bucks, and there's a lot to get into. I don't feel like we've really gotten into much of Giannis. Jose, the floor is yours.
Hey, how you doing, Randy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
And not much. Hey, listen, man. What I say, I think it's sad what I hear about how Stephen A. Smith went into the locker room and saw the players that they don't look happy. They're like individuals with uniforms on. Mm-hmm. And we went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and without our true all-stars. And this year we're not doing anything. But I believe in my Celtics. I'm from Boston. I live in Virginia now. But I believe we're going to do what we did in 1968 and 1981 on a 3-1 deficit. But we'll see what happens. I just think, what do you think? You think we could do that? If Jason Tatum and Kyrie get the stuff or the criticism they get on TV right now?
No, listen, I think who better to fight history than a team that has made history, right? I mean, you said it. The Celtics have done it twice, 1981, 1968. They're one of two teams to be able to come back from multiple 3-1 deficits in a best-of-7 series. The Rockets have done it a couple of times, and we know what the Cavs did to the Warriors a couple of years ago. That's the list. So, unfortunately, history is against you, but on a positive tip, you have made history, and you've made plenty of it as a franchise, as the Celtics. The problem is, though, you're going up against a guy in Giannis who you have not, quote-unquote, solved. You ran extra defenders against him in Game 1. That was great because you scored the basketball as well. Kyrie had 26 in Game 1. Since then, he's been a shell of himself. He was 7 for 22 last night, and that was coming in a game following a game where he was 8 for 22, and he said, that's never going to happen again. I'm not going to have an 8 for 22 performance. I'm not going to miss layups. I'm not going to complain about calls. And I kid you not, in the first half of Game 4, he did all of those things. He checked all of those boxes, every single box on his not-to-do list. He did it on one play. On one play. He missed a 3, or he missed a jumper, got the rebound, went in for a layup, little contact, he missed the layup, complained about the call, and it was all part of an even worse shooting performance than 8 for 22. It was 7 for 22. He's missed 43 shots over his last 3 games alone. That's the most misses he's ever had in a 3-game span in his playoff career, and it comes with the season on the line and potentially his Boston playoff career on the line. Because I'll play this, and you tell me if this sounds like a guy who's coming back to Boston.
Yeah, who cares? Who cares? I'm a basketball player. Prepare the right way. Like I said, it's a little different when your rhythm is challenged every play down. You're being picked up full court. They're doing things to test you, and the expectations on me are going to be sky high. And I try to utilize their aggression against them and still put my teammates in great positions while still being aggressive. I'm trying to do it all. So, for me, the 22 shots, I should have shot 30. It really not great of a shooter. So I think that just the consistency of just going at it, staying aggressive is always going to put us in a great position.
Like, I get it. You are a great shooter. Kyrie has been a great shooter, especially in the postseason in his career, and great shooters shoot themselves through slumps. The problem is, though, you can't have this disdainful attitude postgame with your season on the line and with potentially your final game in front of home fans, especially the way the season has played out. Much more on Kyrie, much more on the Celtics, much more on the NBA playoffs, far more entertaining in this round than the last. It's Randy Scott in for Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.